Hello, good morning. Well, good evening if you're watching this when it comes out. Sorry, I missed last week's video. So yeah, we missed a week. If you noticed, I apologise. Basically, it was it's been mad busy at work, in life, and something had to give, and unfortunately, it was the video. But I don't intend to make a habit of that. I was really mad at myself that I wasn't able to get a video out last week. But like I say, work, this is my busiest time of year at work. Just keep an eye on the traffic. And I was working quite late. I was away at the weekend and I just didn't have time. There was no time. I didn't even do any drawing. It was so busy. We're up bright and early this morning. Got Wilbur with me. Sun's rising. Beautiful. Sun's rising just over there. I did a bit of drawing over this weekend. I'm going to carry it on. I've got more time now. Things are getting a bit less busy. But this week's video is pretty much just going to be me introducing you, or me apologising, and then showing you a bit of the progress so far on the drawing. Because we're now at the exciting shading phase. It's taken a very long time to get the drawing mapped out. I'll show you it in a bit. I'm out filming quite early this morning and walking Wilbur, in part because we've got the boiler needs changing, so people are going to be around fixing the boiler, and I don't know how noisy the house is going to be, so I just wanted to introduce you to the video outside while it's not noisy, and also just because it's lovely out here. Sometimes there's barn owls around here. I've not seen them for a little while. I thought they might be out because it's quite early, but anyway, they're not here. So it is going to be quite noisy in the house because there's someone fixing the boiler, doing whatever, changing the boiler. It's probably going to be noisy. I filmed a bit over the weekend, just drawing, so I can show you that, and then I'll probably be able to hopefully be able to do a bit more drawing today. And I don't know how much talking I'm going to be able to do. I'll try and do a bit so I can show you what we've done. I'll do a bit so we can show you what we've done. But it's going to be a pretty short video today, just saying hi, apologising, catching you up on the drawing, and that's going to be it. And then hopefully be able to do a bit more next week. And anyway, I hope you enjoy. So I'm back home. The boilerman hasn't turned up yet, so not that you've asked, but this is what's on my mind. So the boilerman's not here yet, so I can actually talk to you about this drawing a bit more than I thought I was going to be able to. So I'll show you a little bit what I've done, and then you can just have a look at a bit of the process, I think. So I've got these all laid down again. So I did have it stood up for the majority of doing these lines. You can see them all there. So we've got quite a lot of detail in all the fibres now. Some areas I've made a bit more condensed. Some areas I've left a bit sparser, which is reflective of the original photograph if we just look at that. So I've finished with the fibres for the most part now, and I've gone into the shading. So I've started that around here, which will be, this is this bit that you can see. And remember, this is a magnified view, so it's like we're pretty much just looking at this area magnified. So could you see that? This area magnified. So that's what we're looking at here. So this area is quite dark. This is just the black in the background. There's some patches throughout the photograph as well. You can see where it's really dark, so I've reflected that here. What I'm going to do first is I think identify the really dark areas and try and get them at least mapped out. I'm going to do these much darker. I'm doing it in layers. So I'm starting off with like a H or a B and then a 2B. And I'm just going darker. I don't want to go in too dark too soon in case I not change my mind, but basically I'll try and get sort of a mid-tone all the way through it, and then I'll go in and make it darker where it needs to be, so that way I can make it as I can create more depth using the mid-tones. So you can see here that's probably going to stay about that shade. I've gone quite dark here for reference for the contrast, because I know that'll be quite dark, so I'm just using little points as reference. So here and here, they're little reference points. Here I've not gone too dark yet. This whole strip will be pretty much black apart from the fibres, and then I'll go, these will be much lighter, and I'll probably even add a few more fibres in as I'm going as well. So just to show you all a bit closer, you can see there I've gone really I've done a lot quite dense with the fibres here, but then in other areas I've left it much more spaced out. And in the photograph, that's because in some areas there's fibres much closer to the surface and then more underneath, and I'm going to try and reflect that where the big gaps are. These are the ones close to the surface, and then try and add a bit more depth in the space in between. The paper area I've gone a little bit more into. I've just added some darker bits. I've created a bit more contrast. So what's happened is, because this paper is quite, I've mentioned it when we started, because this paper is really fibrous and really light, it's really easy to rub the surface pencil off. So as I'm going, I am using a sheet of paper to try and like keep my hand off not to stop rubbing where the pencil already is, and that's working for the most part. But because this paper is so fibrous, it is rubbing it off sometimes, so I do have to be quite careful with that. So there are areas that I'm just having to go back into a little bit more and just reline it a little bit, but nothing too much. I've just got to be very aware that it is quite a fibrous paper. Also, with it being quite fibrous, that's part of the reason I'm layering as well. So because the paper's, loads of the fibres sort of come off as you draw, if I go straight in there with quite a dark pencil, some of the fibres lift, and then I'm just going to have to go back in there and do it again. Whereas if I go in with a lighter pencil, so a harder pencil, it takes some of those fibres off straight away, and then I can go back in and put the darker stuff in, and it's almost acting as it like it's almost like a surface scrub in a way, and meaning that when I put the darker stuff on, it's applying a bit better to the paper. I hope that makes sense. Because the fibres are so tiny, I can only see it happening through my goggles. I can't see it happening with my naked eye. So, but when I wear my goggles, I can see the fibres lifting, and then I think, oh no, the fibres are coming away, and then I take my goggles off, and actually you can't see it with your eye. So yeah, so I am sort of using a mix of my goggles and just naked eye as well, just to try and make sure that what I'm seeing is actually what can be seen here. So just while we're here, I thought I might as well show you how it's working. So what I've done is I've mapped out. So there's the fibres which I've drawn in. They're about 4H or 5H pencils, what I've drawn the fibres in. And then in these really dark areas, I've gone around with a 2B pencil, one of the graphite stick pencils, and I've just outlined the fibres a bit more to give them a bit more definition. And then I'm just very, very lightly going in and shading those blocks in. And just, shading them in. I'm not pressing down hard at all, it's very, very light. And I'm trying to do them all the same direction as well. So when I go back over and do another layer, I will go in another direction with the pencil strokes. I'm just trying to keep them all in one direction for now, because then it gives me a good idea of the spread and the coverage that I'm getting on the paper. Also with the easel being this way around, it means keeping me consistent as well. What I will be doing, I will be having to stand the easel back up and light back down again and move it around to make sure that I'm getting in everywhere and not dragging my hand over everything as well. So I'm really happy with how it's going. I think it's going to look, I'm really happy with the paper bits that are still like the papery pulp bits that are stuck to it. I think they look good. I'm just topping them up every now and then with a bit of dark to make sure there's a good amount of contrast in there. And like I say, I've got absolutely no idea how long this is going to take. I remember saying a few weeks ago, oh, I might get this done quicker than I thought, and then realising that I probably wouldn't. I'm probably close to nearly 200 hours, if not over 200 hours on this drawing already. When I did the smaller one, I remember the fibres were definitely the thing that took the longest, and then the shading was quite quick after that. The deadline for this drawing isn't until January, but I really would like to get it done before Christmas. I'd like to get it done in the next 2 weeks, ideally, because I've got other things that I want to do as well, that I really want to crack on with. So I'd really love to get this done in the next 2 weeks. I've got a bit more time over the next 2 weeks to get this done. So, and also with the darker evenings, it means I'm not going out as much at night. I'm getting more stuff done in the morning, so then my evenings are more free. And maybe I might even be able to take a day or two off work to get some more done as well. But that's it for now. If you want to support the channel, a like and a subscribe would be great. If you could. I've also got a little donation link. If you want to, you can donate £3, and that just buys me pencils. I tried to make it £3. The minimum amount you can donate is £3. I tried to make it £2.50, which is about the cost of a pencil, but it wouldn't let me do that. So if you want to support in any way, then there's a little donation link that you can leave, £3, and that'll buy me a pencil. That'd be incredibly helpful. If not, then just like and of course subscribe. And on my website, I've got prints and photographs for sale as well as usual, and the Garstang painting is up there for sale as well. I haven't managed to get prints done of that yet. I can't quite get the colour balance of it right. I'm looking at a service that will do print on demand, glacier prints for me, which at the moment I make my own prints. I print my own prints. They are posters really, more than fine art prints, what I can offer. I am looking at a service that can do some print on demand stuff. So let me know if you'd be interested in buying prints through that. It'll be so it'll be all my original work, but a glacier print, which is just a really nice quality print. And that would mean that I won't have to print it. It would be very much on demand, and you can just order it straight away. I'm also looking at trying out some membership things. So sort of like offering like a members club and seeing what I could give people through that club. I'm thinking maybe like stickers and maybe like stickers that I've designed and like painted mugs and things like that. I don't know. I'm still working through a lot of ideas. If you've got any idea, if there's anything, if you were going to be part of an art members club, what would you like? What would you like out of it? Would you want pencils? Would you want workshops? Would you want videos as part of that membership? What would you want as part of a membership if you were going to join an art members club? Let me know. I'm going to leave you there for now. I'm going to crack on with this drawing this week. Right, I'll stop waffling. I'll leave you alone. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.